I just realized I forgot my glasses. Oh gosh. Hey, it's your girl Keisha, and welcome to An Engineer with a Perspective. I am obviously an engineer. This is my first video on my YouTube channel, and I hope to bring to you guys just authentic content, focusing more on like some of the games I like to play, mainly Sims 4, but we will go beyond that, I promise you. Also talking about some of the crazy things that's going on in the tech industry, also in the world as well. I also have some crazy story times for you guys as well. So we're also going to get into one story time today because I used to be a certified personal trainer through NASM. If you know or have been through that certified training, you know how intense it is, and you also know what it takes to really be a certified personal trainer, especially through NASM. So I'm going to discuss why I quit being a certified personal trainer. There's a couple of reasons why, but let's first go ahead and get into who am I. I am originally from Ohio, but I live in North Carolina right now. I've been down here for the past 2 years, and I'm an engineer. So an engineer, process engineer manager. I basically travel a lot. I love to travel, essentially. I enjoy being out and about, and I also have my side business as well. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. I'm a tech girl. I love trucks. I got a Jeep Wrangler 4-door. My all-time favorite anime, I'm probably going to have to say, is Hunter x Hunter. I also do love Solo Leveling, but I'm going to wait till all the episodes are out and I'm going to binge watch it because I don't have time. All right, I finished season 1 in 2 days. All right, so we talked about me being an engineer. I love my job. I love what I do. I have an amazing boss. Everything is just going great with that. But before I moved from Ohio, I was an engineer in Ohio, and I also was a certified personal trainer as well. So let's talk about this crazy story time, how I got into it, and why I dipped out immediately. All right. So I think this was like sometime after COVID. I love to work out. I work out at least 4 to 5 days a week. I typically don't like to work out on the weekends. That's my mental break and my physical break. I am working on trying to achieve that BBL look without laying on the table, essentially. I just don't feel like spending the money for BBL. I don't feel like going through the recovery period. I just want to look, I just don't want to, no. So essentially what happened is that I decided that I really wanted to, if I love to work out, well, why not make money off of it? Okay, so I researched what was the most accredited certification I could get through physical training, personal training. And there were a couple, but when I looked them up, I found that NASM was the best certification I could get. It allows you to not only be a personal trainer, but also nutritionist as well. And they really go through the science behind each physical activity as well. So I went through that, spent a lot of money on my certification. That was a lot. Okay, fast forward. I finally got my certification. I was doing sessions. I had friends and family that wanted my help. I was charging very low for my sessions. I just wanted to get my name out there and just tell people, hey, this is what I do. I am, I'm here to help you. I was getting a lot of traction, and I got asked to be, I got asked by this girl. I didn't really know her that much, but I knew that she was in the same city that I lived in. And she asked if I could hold sessions at her studio. I would make so much money, essentially, and she would pay me on a monthly basis. So that was the contract, essentially. I started to, advertise my sessions in the studio, and I'm getting a lot of clients in there. And in between time, I will also hold clients at a gym, essentially. Fast forward, I want to say a few months after I'm in the studio, the girl who asked me, she was trying to, expand her studio. She wanted to, do yoga. She was holding wellness sessions in there. Great. I couldn't attend any of those because I worked 8 to 5. I was working an hour or so away. I couldn't attend any of those sessions, but she hired this girl to paint a mural in her shop. And it was beautiful. As it was coming along, it looked beautiful. There was a particular day where the girl told me, hey, she's going to be, if you don't mind, she's going to finish the mural inside the studio during your session. I said, no problem. As long as she don't get hit by a ball, It is at your risk, baby girl. It is at your risk. Girl was my ex-boyfriend's ex. And the reason why this is somewhat important is because the ex, I was with him for 6 years. In the beginning of our relationship, this girl was very unhinged. I don't know if they had a little one last time. This is my last time. No, this the last time. It's time to put it in. Is he in jail right now? Anyways, I don't know if they had a little one last time right before we got together, but she was acting like he owed him something. And they have their own story. I'm not gonna make this whole video about them. But me and him were together, and she annoyed the crap out of me. We got into arguments. She harassed me when I was in college and school, trying to fight me in the middle of the hallway. Nonetheless, we had beef. Every time we see each other, there was words being said, or there was something, dirty looks being exchanged. If you know, you know. So there was words exchanged after my class was done, because apparently she had asked me, I don't remember what it was, but I did not respect her. It is really hard for me to be nice to anyone that I do not respect. And maybe that was on me, but at the time, I'm like, girl, no. A response that you're expecting out of me is not what you're going to get, so it's only going to make you more upset. And I think she was expecting me to get in her face, us get into a fight, whatever, and I wasn't giving her that. I just basically laughed in her face, and I laughed on my way to my car. She was like, I don't know what your problem is. I don't want your man. I don't want nothing to do with my... Girl, this is all about you. This ain't got nothing to do with him. I don't argue over dudes, because he was with me. I broke up with him. So I don't know what you're talking about. But after that situation happened, I want to say maybe a few weeks later, the girl who asked me to be her studio essentially was like, yeah, I don't want you in the studio anymore. There was a certain amount of money I was supposed to receive on a monthly basis. When she had asked me to leave the studio, she was behind 2 months. I'm like, so not only are you going to abruptly end my sessions with all these clients, but you're behind? So I told her, look, I have a lawyer. There was a contract. You pay me by the end of today, and you won't hear from me ever again. She said, I'm going to pay you tomorrow. I said, no, today. All right, so I get paid, I leave the studio. So all my clients ended up having to be transferred to me having to do one-on-one sessions, essentially. This is where the crazy stuff begins as well. So I ended up getting, I'm training clients in the gym or whatever, or I'll go to their house or meet at the park so I can train them. Things are going good. I'm advertising my services on Facebook. I'm getting new clients, word of mouth. Things are going decent until I got this one client. We're going to name him Ben. Ben reached out to me through Facebook and basically asked me, hey, one of my friends were telling me that you were doing sessions, one-on-one client sessions. Can you tell me more about what you offer and what your pricing is? And I said, oh, sure. Can you tell me who your friend is? Because just wanted to know so I can give the friend like a referral like discount for his next couple of classes or whatever. So I told him the classes, how long will I require, and the pricing, all that. He was okay with it. There was no issues with that. So I asked him to send me pictures of him so I can try to structure up some kind of plan regards to, okay, well, send me your pictures now, and then what are you trying to do? Can you take measurements? Doing all that. So he's sending me pictures. And this was the first red flag, Ben. Because why are you sending me pictures like he's flexing, like his muscles? He is showing me like the abs he doesn't have. But he's like, he's taking these pictures like he's trying to show me something. And like he's trying to show off. So that was the first red flag. But I was like, maybe he's just confident. Maybe he's just feeling himself. Maybe he's just, in a good mood. So I was like, okay, so we set up a plan, and I was going to train him 3 times a week for a certain amount of money for a certain amount of time. Everything was good. So we started that following. So he hit me up on a Friday night. We started our first session that Monday. All right. Ben and I met at the gym. We met at the park at first. He said, let's do cardio the first day. Is that okay? And I said, all right, sure, whatever. So we went ahead, met at the park, and we focused on stretching techniques. Times where we would stretch, and he would give me like an eye, like he would give me certain looks, and these looks weren't like, they were like he was eyeing me. But, I know I look good, so I have to be careful sometimes with my male clients because, I don't want y'all looking at me a little weird and thinking something. But I did notice that. And as I continued to train him throughout that week, even when we go to the gym, I'm trying to show him how to hold certain positions, how to do a squat, the proper way to lift, the right formation, things like that. He would be paying attention to what I'm doing, but he's definitely eyeing me. Like the girls that get it. And the guys that have done it know what I'm talking about. All right, that Saturday, what we ended up doing was I said, hey, we had a great week. Here's where I think that we can improve on. Here's the things that I want to change up for next week. Let's go ahead and schedule for the next, your next 3 sessions for next week. Monday comes around, we meet at the gym. And I had just finished up with a client. So I told him to come right on in, go ahead and do 5 minutes on the treadmill. He was like, oh, well, can you walk with me? I don't want to feel alone. All right, red flag number 3 at this point, because the first red flag was you sending me some pictures trying to show off some abs and muscles you don't really have. Red flag 2 is you giving me the eye while I'm trying to show you different positions and workouts and things like that. Now you want me to walk with you? But okay, whatever. So that whole Monday, he's just eyeing me, things like that. All right, fast forward to Wednesday. Wednesday comes around, and I had a client right before him. He comes into the gym. I was appalled. This guy comes into the gym with a bouquet of flowers, like something you would get I'm from North Carolina, so Harris Teeter, you can buy like a bunch of, flowers. He bought like 3 or 4. It was a lot. He brings them into the gym. Now, this is like you coming to the gym with someone. Like if a girl goes to the gym with a guy or vice versa, which is basically the same thing I'm doing, like typically people automatically, and let me know if I'm wrong, but people typically, or they are more inclined to believe that maybe you guys are together. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I could be very wrong, but typically, like, if you come to the gym with someone and you're working out with them, people say, all right, either they're just friends or they're together, boyfriend and girlfriend working out together. All right. You walking into the gym with a bunch of flowers definitely gives off the impression that you and I are together. And that was really embarrassing for me. But I was so shocked at the time. I didn't know what to think. I was just like, hey, you don't, what is this? He said, oh, I just think that you're an amazing person, and I just want to give you these flowers. Why? Why?
Why? Why? Why? Why? Why?
At the time, like, I have people that I, was actually working out with in the gym that I was talking to, like the guy, he's seen that. He was like, hey, so y'all, he's like, no. I'm like, no. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it just, he was the guy, like, I was kind of dating at the time. Like, he would not let that go for like a while. But after, I'm gonna get to it. But he was like, so he sent me a text like, what the is going on? You all together? So you got a whole dude bring you flowers at the gym, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, he is a client of mine. I have no clue why he did that. And I had people looking at me like, not crazy, but like, oh, girl, like, you had a dude bring you flowers in the gym? No, like, I lost count. How many red flags are we at, child? Oh my God. The session ended. I said, hey, like, I would appreciate if can you just not do that again? And I gave him the flowers back. I can't accept that, because then it's going to make you think that I like you, or it's going to make you think something completely different than what's actually going on. I don't want you to have any thoughts, but fast forward to Friday, we meet at the gym again. This time, all right, because I didn't want him bringing no flowers straight to me in the gym. So this time, before he got in, I walked outside to my car and just like wanted to see him come in to make sure he wasn't going to bring no teddy bear or nothing funky like that. So I went ahead and walked to my car. I watched him walk out of his car, but I didn't know what car, I wasn't entirely sure of what car he had at the time. I knew it was a blue car, but I couldn't tell what model it was. So when I see him get out of a car, I seen him walk inside the gym. I'm like, what car did he walk out of? I didn't know. All right. So I walk in behind, I'm like, hey, how are you? Let's get started. And this time I'm being very stern. There's no friendly Keisha. We're not doing this bubbly Keisha. I'm being very stern and assertive. And I don't think he was happy with that. The session ended like on time. Typically my sessions go over a little few, like maybe 5-10 minutes. This session ended on time, like on the clock, on the dot. And I was like, okay, cool. It is Friday. I'm about to, go home and just relax. I'm like, man, I'm about to get me some Chipotle and go home and call it a day and try to fix this whole situation with my date, the guy that I was dating at the time, because he still was kind of mad at me over something that wasn't even entirely my fault. Anyways, so I told him, hey, okay, I'll hit you up. I will hit you up on Saturday with the notes, and then we'll schedule for next week. He said, okay, cool. Hey, he was like, are you doing anything tonight? And I said, probably not. But everything's still up in the air. I'm just not sure. He was like, oh, okay, well, if you're not doing anything, do you want to go and maybe get some drinks? So I'm like, oh no, drinking is not good for you, because if you drink, then you're not gonna burn fat. Technically, that's true. But it was just so random for me to mention that. I don't know. So I went inside of I started to walk inside the locker room. I noticed one of my girlfriends were coming into the gym. So I'm like, oh, hey girl, what you doing? So we talked for like at least 30 minutes. Because the time that my session ended was probably like around like 7 o'clock. All right. She comes into the gym around that time, like maybe let's say 7:05. By the time I checked my phone, we got done talking, it was 7:30 something. That's all I remember. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to go to Chipotle. I'm kind of hungry. She was like, oh, okay, I'm going to get my workout in. I wish you could work out with me. I'm like, girl, I'm so tired. Like, I had a client, I want to eat and just kind of go home and just have a little girls' night in. To walk to my right to go outside, I noticed there was a certain somebody sitting on one of the machines. Y'all don't believe who was there? Ben. Ben is still at the gym, just sitting there on a machine. 45 minutes or about 45 to 50 minutes after our session was over. Y'all don't think that's strange? When I walk at the gym and I see him, I'm just kind of like taken back. Because why are you here, sir? So I was kind of startled, and my friend, she was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Nothing." She was like, "Girl, what's wrong?" I was like, "Why is there? My client is still here from 7 o'clock. He's still here." She was like, "Girl, who?" I'm like, "Tell somebody, hey, don't look, but this person is doing this, and the third, and or you talk about somebody's outfit, whatever, and they do a. Why would you look around? I told you don't look." I'm like, "Girl, don't look." I said don't look. She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I told her I'm like, "I think it's weird that he's still here." She's like, "Definitely weird, but just keep an eye out, just make sure, go ahead and go straight home." I'm like, "I'm about to order some food." And she was like, "Well, go straight to Chipotle and you go straight home." And she was like, "If anything is wrong, just let me know." I'm like, "Okay, all right, cool." So I go to my car and I sit in my car for about at least 5 minutes, just responding to some text messages. I'm looking at maybe it's an Instagram story here or there. And I finally head to Chipotle. The Chipotle that I went to was about 10 to 15 minutes from the gym. I went to the one that was by where I lived. And I drove there. I did not go through the drive-thru. I went inside. And when I went inside, I went to grab my food. I came back out. Now, I walked out to the parking lot and I noticed that there was a car there. There was a bunch of cars there, but there was one car that had their headlights on. And there was a blue Hyundai. A blue Hyundai. And I'm like, huh. Okay. I just kept walking to my car. So I pull out and I'm driving. And I check in my rear view. The blue Hyundai is behind me. I said, okay. Interesting. All right. So I went ahead and I turned a few blocks or whatever and heading home. And the car is still behind me. So at this point, I'm like, this is weird. This is very weird. And I'm close to my house. Now, one thing I remember that my ex told me was he was like, hey, if you feel like you're ever being followed, never go straight home, drive to the police station. And I get my phone, GPS nearest police station. I start driving there. And car is still following me. So I'm like, oh yeah, somebody is definitely following me. I pull into the police station and the car just stops in the middle of the road and then just speeds off. So I'm like, oh my God. So I actually go into the police station and I say, hey, I don't know what to do, but I was just being followed. I drove here and they just pulled off and they followed me for at least 5-6 minutes. I knew I was being followed. And all I could tell them it was a blue Hyundai, and I'm like, I don't know who it was. So I go ahead, I do a little police report thing. I tell them what happened, boom, boom, bop, and I go ahead and I leave. Mind you, my food was cold, so I'm pissed. So I'll drive home. I'm mad. My food cold. I didn't spend an hour. It wasn't an hour. It was at least 40. It was most definitely probably 40 minutes. This is important. So I leave. I called my mom and I told her what happened. I called my friend and told her what happened while I'm heading back home. I pull into the house. Where I was at, I couldn't park inside my garage because I had a shared garage with my neighbor. And there was stuff all in the garage. My ex still had his crap inside the garage. So I had to park outside. So my car was exposed to stalkers. So I go inside, grab my food. I take a shower. It's at least 30 minutes before I go back downstairs to heat up my food. And completely forgot about the alcohol advice I gave to Ben, because I went ahead and cracked open my bottle of wine and poured me a little cute little glass, and I had wine and Chipotle. Definitely not a good mix. So I heat the food up. I go to the living room. I watch TV. I come, throw my food away back into the kitchen. Now, for me to get to my kitchen, I had to walk to the dining room. The dining room has a large window with blinds. I noticed that there was a car that had their headlights on that was parked across the street from my house. But the lights were flat, like directly inside of I could see the lights in between the blinds. I didn't think of it because people park there all the time. People park there. There's people picking up people. They typically always park there. So I didn't think too much about it. I go inside the kitchen, throw my food away. I did something with dishes. I poured me another glass of wine. I walk out of my kitchen, sipping a little glass, and I'm like, is that car still there? So now I'm just being nosy. Just being nosy. I peek out the blinds. Y'all, that blue Hyundai was outside my outside my house. And I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. I called the police and I'm like, that car is outside of my house. So they're like, okay, we're on our way. Cops come less than 5 minutes. And I'm like, can somebody please stay on the phone with me? I don't know what to do. I am freaking out. I have my work phone. I'm calling my mom and my dad to the work phone. I am crying. They're like, calm down. But I can't calm down. I don't know what's going on. I'm being stalked. Oh my God, being stalked. The police pull up with the lights. I walk outside of my home and I'm just pointing at the car. The car tries to come, to drive away, but there was like 2 cop cars and the cop cars just block him. They just block him. And I'm like, yes. You know, I'm walking outside and I'm a little chilly. I'm just holding myself like this. And I'm trying to think like, who the heck is that? And then like, get out of the car, show yourself, get out of the car, turn your car off, get out of the car, doing a little script or whatever. Y'all won't believe who came out of that car. It was Ben. Ben came out of the car. And I'm just like, my jaw dropped. And they said, do you know this person? And I said, yeah. I can't explain the feeling initially that I had because I was distraught. I was scared. To think that you went through all that trouble to find me, you still followed me after I left the police station. What were you going to do? You were outside my house for a while. What were you going to do? And I decided that I didn't want to be a personal trainer anymore because I'm not saying that everybody is like that, all clients will be like that, but that was enough. That was enough to scare me, to scare the crap out of me. That was enough. I regret it a little bit because in order to renew your contract, you have to keep, you have to be doing something related to physical fitness, personal training or whatever. And because I had quit, I essentially had lost the rights to renew my certification without having to pay. Pretty much the end of that, I never heard from Ben again. I moved on with my life. I'm enjoying life down here in North Carolina, engineering and running my business, and just really focusing on that. It's my crazy story times. So that was a 2-in-1 in a get to know me. So let me know if this is the kind of content that you guys like. There are going to be some more story times in the future, but thank you so much for joining me, and bye.